was like, whoa.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is presented by Underdog. If you're new to Underdog, today's the day. Get $100 in bonus entries when you play just $5 with code It Is What It Is. So we've been with Underdog for a minute, so trust me, y'all, this is the best offer they've ever dropped, and y'all don't want to miss it. You can make picks right now in most states, including Georgia, Texas, and California, just to name a few. So make sure y'all support the show, lock in your bonus, and start playing today with code It Is What It Is. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your host Cam. Mace will be back, and today we are joined with our analyst Maurice Clarett.
Mo, what's up, man?
What's going on, baby?
I'm good.
Wake
How you,
up.
man? Everything
Great.
all right?
Everything phenomenal. I told Stat this morning, wake up. Stat, we about to
Yeah.
do a show. We about to
I'm
have great
up.
energy. We here for the people, Stat.
I'm up.
Now,
Nah,
Let me ask you something, Mo,
what up?
because I was traveling a lot yesterday. I was in like 3 time zones in one day and made it back to the East Coast. But I missed a lot of things that I'm catching up on this morning. Is it the college? And I didn't see it. I'm asking because I see a sweater. Was Ohio State ranked #1 when they did the college football rankings?
Yeah, we number one. We've been number one
Yeah,
for
I could. Yeah, I know, but I know they doing the rankings. But I see the shirt, so that's why I figured that
this is
y'all was. Yeah, yeah, they back #1. I know y'all been #1 all year, but you know they doing the official rankings now for the playoffs, and it's mighty familiar, mighty coincidental, I should say, that it's a big. You all in the camera, you not sitting down. Rankings is in big Ohio
yeah.
State energy. It's all good. Congratulations, man. Y'all looking good this year, though.
Now we appreciate it. I take all the compliments and all the praise, and yeah, I just don't like my energy when I'm sitting down. I tried it. I'm gonna still put the suits
Yeah,
on, but I
yeah,
like
yeah.
standing
Listen,
up.
whatever make you comfortable, man.
Yeah, we go. I'm gonna put the suits on, but I seen the show this week. I seen everybody was traveling, so I did take advantage. I did, put my Ohio State gear on. I was with my guys, and so, it never hurts to hear that you're number one. And so, as long as we number one, I'm gonna talk my shit about it and enjoy it.
That's what's up.
Yeah, you deserve it. Okay, so we're gonna get to the Mavs because they finally did the thing. So they have fired Nico Harrison, and the former Mavs GM has updated his IG bio to unemployed. So the reveal actually happened via social media, and then it was released that way to the public. So, do you guys think the Mavs made the right decision, Maurice?
From doing my research, I think it was the only decision that they can make, and I think a lot of it was driven from how the fans were reacting to the slow start of the Mavs, and then from what I read, every time that something was going wrong, they were chanting "Fire Nico." And so, if you actually go back to, it was an interview, I don't know, maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, when Mark Cuban has sold the mass majority of the team to the Adelson family or the Merriam family. I think it's two families that have merged together. He was talking about reluctantly how he hated doing it, and he thought that once they took ownership, that things were going to go into a different direction. And even the getting rid of Luka, which I think caused all this stuff, was more so like a vengeful tack from the family and a middle finger to the city of Dallas because they're a casino family. They're cooperating with the other, I think the parent company is called the Sands Company, and they have a bunch of casinos over in Vegas. And they thought that this was like some big boy power move to say fuck you to the city of Dallas because they zoned, or they thought that they were getting a team in an arena and a casino in Dallas, and the city of Dallas zoned them, but the state of Texas won't allow them to do the casinos that they do in Vegas over there in Dallas. And so this was looked at as sort of like a vengeful tactic. So I know it was everywhere with my explanation, but Nico and his whole picture to me is just like the fall guy. And I think he got kicked out of the building because the fans' reception. They needed to blame somebody. They basically blamed Nico for the things that went wrong. But there's no way in hell that you as the GM is about to fire or get rid of Luka on your own discretion. That came from the top up. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, Mo, you was definitely wasn't all over the place. You was accurate. Ownership. Mark Cuban saw a majority of the team. If Mark Cuban was owning the team, this trade with Luka never happens. It just
Yeah,
doesn't happen. The owners wanted to move the Mavericks to Vegas. The NBA wouldn't allow it. Owners started acting like babies, kicking, throwing a tantrum, and say, "Oh yeah, fuck that. We're getting rid of Luka." This is billionaire games niggas is playing. You know what I'm saying? And they put Nico at the front line of this shit. Now, don't get it fucked up. Nico had a hand in it as well, but this is majority blamed on ownership. Think about this if you're a Dallas Maverick fan, and I know it's in hindsight now, but before we even get to Luka, right? And this dude wouldn't have had the same career uh, in Dallas because you're playing behind Luka, but you look at the success of Jalen Brunson. You don't sign him for a few extra $1 million that you could have gave him and kept him in Dallas. Now look what the fuck. He done revived the whole New York City. The Knicks
yeah,
been looking for a superstar for however long, and you had him. On the bench at that, not even starting. Then the Luka situation, we just move over to Luka. You trade Luka for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is always hurt, which he's hurt now. And then you see that they're not doing well starting off. Nico thought he hit the jackpot when these niggas got the number one pick because niggas like, how Dallas get the number one pick? And they thought Cooper Flagg was going to be the next Larry Bird and come in and do his motherfucking thing. I think he's doing well for a rookie. He's just not the superstar that everybody thought he's going to come out the gate to be. And the Mavericks are, I think, at 3-7, 3-8, some shit like that. And this is not the start that they want to have. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Then what you do? You flip the channel to see the Lakers playing. No LeBron playing. Luka averaged 107 points, 92 assists, and 58 rebounds. That's what you looking at. You like,
Yeah.
so we got rid of this nigga. Not only that, Nico wasn't given time to let other people grow. Look, we had Shamgar on the show, Class Act. Shout out to my man Shamgar. And he was discussing, you know, how he was disappointed with the Luka trade. At this time, he was still in Dallas. He's coaching the Orlando Magic presently right now. But he was, showing his, uh, saying how he was really disappointed in it. And, it made me go look at some stats. When you sit there and think about Luka from GM's point of view, if you're in Dallas, from Michael Finley and Nico Harrison, like, you're like, oh, he's not in shape. He's not showing up to camp early. He's coming in overweight, et cetera, right? Let's say he is coming in overweight. Let's say he's not in the best shape, right? The nigga, so imagine this, nigga not in the best shape. He drinking beer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's NBA first team 5 years in a row, and he's 26 years old. You're first team All NBA 5 years in a row, and you're 26 years old. The NBA has been around, going on 40 years, 50 years, however long. I know I've been basketball. They merged with the ABA, whatever, 60, 70, 80 years. I don't know how many years. Luka, out of the however many decades the NBA has been here, is the number 2 leading scorer in the playoffs ever.
Oh wow,
Ever,
I didn't know that.
nigga. Behind Michael Jordan is Luka. It's Michael Jordan, then it's Luka. When you're doing playoff average points. What are you talking about? He's not in shape. We talking about he's fat. So what? Maybe that's what he needs to get the numbers. All right, you trade a nigga. You start 3-8. Anthony Davis is hurt. Jalen Brunson is a superstar. Luka's averaging 40. I was exaggerating, of course. He's averaging 30-some, 40-some points a game. LeBron's not playing. Now you got this nigga in LA, and he didn't even want to leave in the first place. You talk about the crowd saying fire Nico, which they was. But a lot of people outside of Dallas don't know that people paid for billboards to say fire Nico. So when you're driving down the highway in Dallas, the
Yo,
fucking billboard is saying Fire Nico. Like who? You know how disgusted you got to be to pay for that? You almost as mad as the nigga that I ask people this. Think about how mad the nigga was that made the first gun. How mad he had to be. That's how mad these niggas was. He put a
Yeah,
billboard up to say fire this nigga. So
yeah, he
yeah,
can't
he had to
survive
go.
that.
But yeah, he had to go. But ownership plays a big part in this as well. Not Mark Cuban's part of the ownership.
Yeah. Great takes. And they did essentially give the people what they wanted. And then Cam, you made a lot of great points too that I want to continue to touch on. So let's start with Luka first. Cause I know usually when like a big trade or something like that happens, everybody's gonna say, oh, well, trust the process. Things can happen in between. And we're kind of seeing how that process is going. But now that that trade has happened, do you think for the Mavs there was any upside in them trading Luka?
You asking me if it's any upside
Yeah.
to trading Luka?
Yes.
What are you talking about, yo? You tell me stat matter of fact. Give me some of the upside you think it was to trade a 25-year-old 5-team first All NBA that leads the NBA in scoring second ever. Give me something optimistic to say. I'm
He,
gonna ask you that.
Give
What
me
you think?
stat.
I
Give me
am an
stat.
optimistic person. I mean, for him being the franchise player, I'm like in Luka's case, I just think Mavs versus Lakers, for him to be that person for the Lakers is a good upside for Luka. But
Oh,
for the team as a
upside for
whole,
Luka?
like however you want to take it, just do you think there was any upside?
Oh, yeah, Stan, you can finish your shit.
Yeah,
I'll go after you.
that's
Yeah, I
that's
didn't even cut you off.
that's what I would take from that. And then also just the state of the team right now. There is just a lot of uncertainty. It would have been dope to see him play with Cooper Flagg, but like I said, I think people have been looking at other players like VJ Edgecombe, and then with 80 being hurt, I'm like maybe in hindsight, I still don't think it should have happened at all. But in hindsight, I'm like, at least Luka can kind of thrive more with the Lakers, especially with LeBron having that injury and stuff. He's kind of been able to make, I think, a little bit more strides with, I would say, a healthier team right now than the Mavs. That's the upside that I would take from it. If we're gonna look
If
for
you
any
looking for
optimism.
if you looking for optimism and upside for Luka, absolutely. Like, don't get me wrong, Dallas is a great city, especially a sports town. You got the Cowboys there. You got great ownership there. Whether people look at Jerry Jones or not, I think Mark Cuban did a great job. The hockey team is really good there. They are a great sports city, but LA is LA. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking at marketing and potential opportunities outside of basketball, yeah, it's a great moneymaker for Luka. But Luka didn't want to leave Dallas. And not only did Luka want to leave Dallas, think about this. They get rid of this nigga right before he's supposed to get the max. So y'all fucked his money up too. On
Yeah,
top of that, that nigga's about to get the max and you trade him right before he get the max. So even LA, he can't get the money that he's about to get. Now, maybe marketing wise, he could go make some other moves. But you got to think about this, right? And I don't know if LA will change his mind or not. A lot of these players overseas, man, go back home. So it isn't like, don't get me wrong, we've seen people make LA their home. We've seen Kobe Bryant make LA his home. We've seen Magic Johnson make LA his home. We've seen Shaq to a certain degree make LA his home. But those are all Americans. I mean, these niggas want to go home after the season's over. Joker
yeah,
want to go race horses and shit, man. They want to go back to Canada. Greek Freak want to go back to Greece. These niggas want to go home. They only got a few months to be home, a couple months, depending on how far you in the playoffs. They want to go home. So Luka never wanted to leave Dallas. Now, maybe, like I said, you look for optimism, opportunities in LA are endless. That it's a great opportunity. But as far as a basketball standpoint, he didn't want to leave. And don't get me wrong, Luka, if anybody's built for pressure, Luka is built for it. But it's not an easy task to go play for the Lakers because of the responsibility it is to play for the Lakers. He
yeah,
didn't ask for that, but he'll take the task on. It's no big deal. But my nigga, maybe sometime nigga don't want to play for the historic franchise. Maybe I want to take Dallas and make them a historic franchise. Make them one of them niggas like the Lakers or the Boston Celtics or, Golden State or the San Antonio Spurs or whoever. Maybe I want to turn that into that. But fuck it, I'm here and I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So if you're looking at an upside, yeah, for Luka, for Dallas, I don't see an upside in getting rid of a 26-year-old, five-time first-team All NBA player.
No,
Okay. And Murray, I
no,
guess
I'm
that's
with
your
you.
point there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to just see both sides. You never know. Some people say it could be a blessing in disguise. There's that there, so I'm just curious. Okay, so let's get to the game. So the Mavs fortunately lost to the Bucks 116 to 114. The Mavs now have a 3-8 record. So Maurice, how did you feel about that game? And then of course Cam spoke on a little bit, but how do you feel about the state of the Mavs before we move to this next game?
The state of the Mavs is a developmental process. I think, like, just to piggyback on what he was talking about, I think that they thought Cooper Flagg would start faster. I'm pretty sure that somebody wished that AD was healthier. They wish that Kyrie was back. Like, they wish that all these things are in place, but they're not. And so they're on a slower track to developing their team. And so you have to go through all your growing pains. And I'm pretty sure that that hurts watching Luka have success now when you felt like he should be having success with your team right now. So that's pretty much it, and it's a shitty situation. And from an ownership standpoint, you don't want to lose your fan base in the midst of all this. So you had to make some move to make it seem like we're listening to you and we were going to put a product on a court that's worth looking at or doing something that's worth looking at. And that's my take on it.
What's the question about? Like, why they
Yeah,
lost?
well,
What you said?
no. How did you feel about the Bucks win, and then just obviously we know the Mavs record now is 3-8. So the state of the Mavs, and then just them losing to the Bucks in that game. So also the Bucks side as well.
I mean, whatever. The Buck, look, it's early in the season. It's 10% of the season going. I don't start making rash decisions till about 20 games in and start seeing what's going on. But look, the Bucks should fucking win. You got fucking Giannis over there. You got fucking Miles Turner, nigga. Okay, they should win. They got the whole Antetokounmpo family in that motherfucker. They can get some fucking wins over there. I mean, whatever. I'm not taking a big look at this game and saying what I think about it, in my opinion. Like I don't really care about this game. But overall, at the situation is Mavs. Look, when Cooper, let's just get to it. Cooper Flag, because when he practiced with Team USA when they was going to the Olympics last summer, he looked really great in their practices. So everybody like, yo, Cooper Flag, Cooper Flag. The NBA players was praising him, coaches was praising him, all this. Then he goes to Duke. He has a great year at Duke last year. Then the Mavs get the number one pick after getting rid of Luka. So everybody think a miracle in Dallas is about to happen. Oh shit, we got the next Larry Bird. We got the nigga who was killing the NBA players in Olympic practice. Yo, we got the Duke All-American. Not just that. And, I'm not being funny. I said this on several occasions. It's different from when you have a white boy and an All-American white boy. Like, Luka's white. The Joker's white. It's several great white players in the NBA. But is it a great white American player in the NBA? I don't know if you consider great. I like Austin Reeves. He ain't no motherfucking Larry Bird. Josh Giddey cool. He all right. He ain't no Larry Bird. We niggas been looking for Larry Bird since
Australian.
90s. Oh, Giddey?
Yeah.
Oh, well, my bad. I'm glad you corrected me. He looked like he American. But
You do.
whatever. More the point. Thanks for letting me know that. But the point being is, ain't no homegrown American nigga that's white, B. And niggas want that. As much as you love Luka, as much as you love the Joker, as much as you love Austin Reeves, Austin Reeves, man, all these white players from overseas, you want an American white player. And we just haven't had that. Like Larry Bird, Larry Bird is considered black. So anyway, I hate to be long-winded about that situation, but no, the upside, you asked me last segment, is it an upside on this whole shit? Upside for Dallas is not the trade. The upside, the only thing you got right now is you Dallas right this right second is like, I hope Kyrie hurry up and come back. I hope this nigga make it back soon, man, because this shit looking crazy, man. I love Jason Kidd. Loved him as a player. I think he's a phenomenal coach. But what the fuck are you doing, bro? You got Cooper Flag at the point. You going to start his point guard career in the NBA in his rookie season? What are you doing? Why do you have Cooper Flagg playing the point guard, which he's never played the point guard, and now you say we're going to try it out this rookie season while Kyrie is out, and he's never played point guard? You got D'Angelo fucking Russell on the bench start coming off the, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck going on in Dallas. It's a mess over there. Only upside you got is Kyrie coming back. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Long story short,
And we
whole
can't, Anthony
situation is
Davis can't.
crazy.
Anthony Davis, we don't know how many games we get. If we get 22 games out of him, be happy.
Pretty much.
Whole situation is crazy. It's a whole lot of giving up, but good luck to him. That's all I can give him. So before we go to this next game, real quick, let's get into our underdog picks. So tonight, the Suns will play the Mavs. Underdog has Cooper Flagg at 16.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower, Cam?
Suns, I like Devin Book, man. He looking like the old Devin Book. I'm gonna go higher.
Okay. Devin Booker is now at 27.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower?
I'm gonna go higher.
And Dylan Brooks is at 15.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower?
Lower.
Okay, make sure y'all download the Underdog app and you can make your picks too. So it's time to talk about the Pistons. Keep saying there's a lot of teams that we're talking a lot about that we didn't expect to be at the point that they're at. So the Pistons beat the Wizards 137-135. Cade Cunningham dropped 46 points in 45 minutes, and the Pistons are 9-2. Maurice, what are your thoughts on the Pistons? Did you expect this, and how did you feel about this game?
Well, it's three things when I thought about this, and I'm gonna connect them to football. Not all football, but some football. But I seen this happen when I was up in UConn, and I think that my man Dan Campbell has reignited the entire city of Detroit. And people think I'm crazy when I say it, but I'm being dead serious. And when you're a professional franchise and you've seen somebody across the street or wherever they are at in proximity, and you like, yo, they done took this destitute team and they done made this motherfuckers a championship team, or at least the talks of going on championship runs, that stuff becomes infectious to the city. It becomes infectious to other professional players. And the way I was comparing it to UConn was because when I seen the boys win the championship, the girls was like, yo, we got to go ahead and get our thing going. And they end up winning the championship. And I seen Detroit. This was the first time I became familiar with Cade Cunningham last year. And I seen flashes of him. And what's the guy's name down in, I think he's Brazilian, a kid down in, or with the Orlando Magic, the big guard, or whatever his name is. I'm Paulo, yeah, I'm drawing a blank from his name, but I had seen them two last year, right? And then I thought about where JB Bickerstaff had basically been released from Cleveland, and he came there with something to prove. And I'm pretty sure, just like everybody else, everybody sees that Boston is down. New York isn't sort of taking that front runner position, like we're about to dominate and take the East. And I'm pretty sure he's giving them a one foot of Gipper speech, like, yo, if we get our thing together and get moving, Cleveland seems to be like Cleveland, New York are the only people in the East that may have something going on. And I just think that they've taken on that bad boy mentality, that tough guy mentality. And I think that Cade Cunningham is just building on what he's seen last year. Like when I seen him play a couple times last year, from them sort of getting like being decent, I was like, yo, this dude is like an impressive dude. I didn't get a chance to see him in college none. But I think this is just pretty much it. You're seeing a team mature, but you're also seeing that when you have a city full of winners and people winning, this is sort of what happens. Everybody becomes infectious with this winning spirit, and I think that's what we're watching with Detroit.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Mo. You got to think, Kay Cunningham, he was another nigga. That's why I said a lot of times niggas got to let players develop. He was a nigga that came in, they thought he was going to be one of them niggas the first year he got there, and he wasn't bad, but he wasn't what they thought. Same thing kind of with Cooper Flagg. Second year, they like, yo, what's going on with the K Cunningham nigga? I thought he was going to be like this, but he was getting better. Now he's somebody that you have to pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, what the fuck going on? You got to think about this. Detroit comes into this season with this mentality. If I'm Detroit, they went down to the wire last year in the playoffs, get bumped first time they've been there in a little minute, get bumped. Think about, we talking about Detroit a couple years ago. They was giving out fucking chicken wings and all that shit to come to the games and all that shit. All type of deals. You get a free dinner if you come to the Detroit Piston game and all type of shit. So for them to make the playoffs last year, not only that, you got a perennial all-star. This is good momentum, and I think that they don't want to lose that momentum. Now, with that being said, they're number one in the East right now at 9-2. We'll see what happens if they can keep this going on. But I do think you're right, Mo. They're trying to build a culture to where this needs to happen every year. Now back to Cade's game. Don't get it fucked up. He had 46 points, but the nigga shot 46 times. He had the worst shooting percentage ever in the triple-double. Nigga, I can get 32 shit if I shoot 45 times, my nigga. If I'm shooting 46 times, I'm going to get 30, my nigga. So, congratulations, but at the same time, you had the second worst shooting percentage for a triple-double after James Harden ever, my nigga. So you made history in a bad way. But I do like, if you got to do what you got to do to make your team win. I'm not big on stats like that to where I look at the box score to where I'll be like, yo, this nigga shooting this many shots. If we won, fuck it. If we lost, that's when you talk to a nigga like, yo, you did shoot 46 times, bro. But they won, so it is what it is.
So let me ask y'all this, because I know you said you're not big on stats, but just given what we're seeing, it's still hard to believe even for me. So looking at the East, right? The Pistons are first with a 9-2 record, then the Knicks, then the Heat. Do y'all think that the Pistons can keep this momentum, or do you just not fully trust them yet? Maurice, what do you think?
I don't know. It's yet to be seen. You don't know if they have enough pieces. You don't know if they have a deep bench. You don't know if it's they are getting excited and they just off to a fast start. But this is how it goes with everything. I think we talked about this last week when it came to football, right? Where Kansas City stumbled, but they talked about Andy Reid having the championship pedigree and knowing how to right the ship, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And getting guys used to winning, getting guys used to winning and not used to losing and sustaining that, the attitude that you have to have that through the entire season. That's a process. I know, it just seems like if you win, you should always win and keep on winning, but learning how to win, learning how to basically, keep that sustained focus throughout the season. If you get the mid-season, you may feel like that this is a victory, that you just turned the team around to being better than you were. So it's yet to be seen. I don't know, but I think that's the same conversation that you can have for New York. You know what I'm saying? Can New York get over the proverbial hump? You know what I'm saying? Versus Eric Spoelstra, who's been there before, or a coach who's been there before, and they sort of like know that journey. So I don't know. It's yet to be seen.
Too early to tell. It's way too early to tell. That's what I will say. I can't say I'm not putting a bunch of stock in the Pistons right now. Looks good, but it's way too early to tell. I
Yeah.
got other questions. Where's Paul George at? That's what I want to know. Where's Paul George? This is more about where the fuck is niggas at. Where's Paul George at? Where's Joel Embiid at? You show up from time to time. Yo, my nigga, where's these niggas at? You know what I'm saying? Where is Jalen Brown at? Besides rubbing hair dye on niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, when I say where niggas at, Paul George re-hurt. I don't even know where he hurt from. He keep talking he the GOAT and all this shit. I don't know where he's at. I don't want to frown on niggas' injury because Paul George had one of the most gruesome injuries and even to come back and walk, let alone play. I give him props, but you the GOAT. Where you at? Joel Embiid just sit out a whole nother year instead of playing games, playing this game, playing that game now. Nobody even talk about Joel Embiid no more. He's the fucking MVP a year before last. Like, just retire and stop wasting people time thinking you'll come back. I bring up Jalen Brown because, look, everybody like, oh, he might be better than Jason Tatum. He might be the one. Without Jason Tatum went down that injury, we ain't seen that Jalen Brown since. The Finals MVP, the nigga who was saying, well, I'm not on the Olympic team. I'm supposed to be on the Olympic team. $320 million. Where are you at, bro? Where you at?
Yeah.
Stop. I don't want to hear the, yo, my niggas took the, you should be able to be how to release the Boston Celtics and number in the top 8 seed right now. Get a number 11 seed, the Celtics. For all them niggas, Jaylen Brown, Batman, and all that shit, I'm not saying he not sometime when Tatum there, because we see. But, you know, I alluded to this a couple shows ago. Scottie Pippen, even when Mike retired them 2 years before Mike came back, Scottie was like top 3 player in the league. He's a fucking
Yeah.
finalist for MVP. Where is you at, my nigga? That's what it's more about to me. And these other niggas like, yo, these niggas bullshitting. The Cade Cunninghams of the world, the Wembys of the world, the new nigga Tyrese Maxey's of the world. Let that, all right, cool, man. I don't know why y'all worrying about them niggas anyway. We here. That's their
Yeah, pretty
attitude. And we
much.
just got to get used to new stars and new people. And that's just the niggas we got to be looking forward to instead of trying to go say, where's the old superstars? And they not superstars.
Great point.
The game is evolving. We used to joke about new hotness. The takeover is happening right before our eyes, whether y'all want to admit it or not. It's literally happening. And then the people that we love to watch, they're just not as durable as they used to be. It's unfortunate, but it's happening. I would just like to see it all in harmony and in unison because y'all know I'm team optimistic and I like to see great things. But hey, that's why we got the Pistons, we got the Knicks, and then we got the Heat on the East. I don't know what's happening. The West got a lot going on, but it's still OKC at the top right now too. And again, right back to new hotness. So do what y'all want with that information. We are going to go to break. When we return, we will discuss Sebastian Telfair to have it all, then to lose it all. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So, breaking story about Sebastian Telfair. He explains that he had to move back to the projects after losing $19 million he made in the league. So he opened up about how he went from making millions in the NBA to having to move back to mermaid houses in Coney Island in the first episode of his new documentary. He is currently locked up in Fort Dix with Diddy. And then in August, he publicly pleaded for President Trump to issue him a pardon. So we're seeing clips of what's happening. We're seeing the documentary. We're seeing the things that he's going through currently. Maurice, what do you think of the situation that he's ended up in and then just him now opening up and talking about it?
I don't know. It's a lot. I think I usually joke around and talk a lot of shit on the show just in general. But when you think about it, there's like some personal relation to what he's doing. There's some like the same old athlete story of mismanaging funds and finances. You have women issues and so on and so forth. But one, I was like, man, it takes a lot to go from everything he was then to be where he's at, but then to show people that. You know what I'm saying? I commend him for even being that humble or to even being that open to even doing that. And I just thought about when I took my fall and I was in the NFL and got cut and went back to the hood. I didn't want a camera in my face, or I'm not sure that I would have basically, put people in my business like that. So I commend him for even being open about that. And I'm pretty sure that it had some connection to business or some opportunity to help him get back on his feet. So I do commend that because he got two twins. I don't know if it's a boy and a girl or two girls or two boys or whatever it was. But I'm just of the camp to hope that he gets back on his feet because I was somebody who was a prominent player in football. He was prominent in basketball, and eventually I got it right. But my journey was a little bit different because I spent more time in prison. And so when I looked at him, I was like, man, 6 months, and I hate to say it like this because I don't want to minimize time, but 6 months isn't a whole lot of time for you to sit down, focus, work on yourself, work on your mind, educate yourself on shit, and at least be around people or within an environment of people who can help you grow. Because when I was in prison, I spent a lot of time reading, a lot of time educating myself, a lot of alone time. And I don't know if 6 months is enough time in prison for him to like reshape his thinking, right? You'll get around people who wish you well just because there'll be people who know him and know of him. But he'll need an entire mentality shift to go from having millions of dollars to go back to being broke and then to get out and say, okay, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? I know he qualifies for some pension, excuse me, at the age of 42. So he'll have a couple $100,000 coming in from that. But I just wish him well because I've been there and I've been through every stages of financial hardship. I got in prison with $400 and, I make millions of dollars every year and I do it now. And so I'm not here to say that it's not possible, but, fuck, I've been out of prison for 15 years and just the building process and who you have to become it's just a whole deal. And so, I don't know. I have a lot to say about it, but I don't want to make it all about me. But I looked at his situation, looked at my situation, and I definitely seen myself in that situation before, but I got out of it. But it all came from me like taking extreme accountability and growing the fuck up and really separating from where I used to be from and growing into a new environment.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if he's in a basement in Coney Island or if he's in a $20 million mansion in Beverly Hills. He's and his energy the same, his spirit's always the same, always in good spirit. Even though I be hearing shit, there's certain shit that's going on, and I speak to him, he be all right because he said he gonna figure a way out. And like you said, Mo, he does qualify for a pension, which is always gonna be a good thing for him in the future. But he's very creative outside of basketball. Got a lot of other things he wants to do outside of basketball, and not only that, I think that he'd be great in the podcast space because he has bold takes, very opinionated. I don't even agree with a lot of the shit that he be talking about basketball wise. He be bugging the fuck out, in my opinion. That's a little bro, but he be bugging the fuck out. And he does have NBA experience. So we'll see what happens. And hopefully when he gets out, he can put some plays together. And if he never needs my help, I'm here to help him as well.
That's super dope. I do have a question for y'all because, and again, to Cam's point, just like you explaining, knowing him as a person and his character and stuff like that, he's been able to remain positive, but that's not basically like the situation everybody kind of has. So when you hear people in these situations who start off with a lot of money and then at some point it kind of starts to fade and slim away, one, like, what's the best financial advice you've been given? And Maurice, I'm going to let you go first. And then how do you kind of keep your spirits high when you're in those situations? Because I know, Maurice, you were talking about your experience in prison and things like that. So how do you kind of remain positive and are able to turn things around?
Uh, for me, I don't think it was a thing of just remaining positive.
Mhm.
But you have to get into your brain and literally get to a place and say, man, it is what it is. No pun intended. Um, Talking about how shit went wrong and talking about who you gave money to and going down memory lane, that's like wasting time. I just remember when I was like, fuck it, it is what it is. I'm here walking the yard, I'm here walking the child, I don't have any money. Like I gotta figure it out. But you can't figure things out just based on hope. Like you have to educate yourself. And so I was dumb. I didn't I knew how to read, but I couldn't comprehend very well, right? And so it literally took for me to sit down with books inside my cell. I used to order shit from this thing called bargain books. And I said, okay, I need to learn about finances. I need to learn about investing. And it was just like a handful of core books that I started reading, cash flow quadrant, understanding what cash flow was. Taught myself about real estate, read The Intelligent Investor, read The Warren Buffett Way, and once I start reading, you just start to get skill. Like anything you do very well, or anything that you're trying to master takes a skill, right? Just like he dribbled a basketball. And that's what I was referencing and said that he may not have enough time inside of prison to sit and read through this stuff before you have to get back out to life and start figuring life out. So you do need to become well versed in finances, and it just literally comes from reading page to page. And now you have so many podcasts and other shit that you have going on, that you can get better from listening to other people and going to seminars. But a lot of stuff is proximity, getting around successful people and just understanding how they operate versus, like, I'll tell you like this, and I don't want to go off the reservation, but I've been knowing Cam, what we've known each other now, like with this for 2 or 3 years. I've never said, hey, Cam, can I come around you to party or have a good time? I'll sit and watch Cam and how he performs and how he entertains and how he does that. Like it all comes down to your focus when you get around people as to what you want to take from them. Pause. You know what I'm saying? And so just shifting your mind in regards to why you're around people versus just being around somebody because they're a celebrity and want to have a good time. All that stuff is what Sebastian has to do because he has access to the people, but you'll get different versions of people based upon what you ask them, if that makes any sense. And I know I kind of was everywhere with it, but I think like that helps you to get your mind ready to, to grow and to do right by your kids and, other responsibilities you have.
Yeah, that was a great take, Mo. Thing about it is this. Sometimes you don't get one opportunity, let alone two. So if you end up messing up on your first opportunity, you got to take full advantage of your second opportunity because third opportunity is just about over with. When you're an athlete, when you're a celebrity, when you're in the public eye or whatever, not even talk about regular people with jobs and shit like that, when they have a chance to get a raise and they fuck the raise up but not living up to expectations, so on and so forth. So the best teacher sometimes is experience.
Yeah.
And I tell people that, you can go to school all you want and study for all this shit, but it ain't gonna equal up to experience. I had a friend of mine, not even being funny, very well educated, etc. He was, it was the recession going on, everything else. The nigga went to be a dog catcher. And that, that ass, man. He went to be a dog catcher. They told him he was overqualified. Had all these degrees and shit. They like, yo, man, you can't be out here catching dogs. And he said, recession, I need to get some money. You got all these qualifications, but if it don't matter in the field that you're doing it right now, it don't matter. Like I said, Stat went to school for journalism. Is she journalizing shit like that?
Journalizing is crazy.
I'm just saying. Is you out here doing journalism right now? I ain't see no motherfucking newspaper saying Treasure Wilson reports
That's
here.
not okay. Wait.
Dead
Journalism
ass,
He
doesn't
man.
just
matching stat.
journalism is just not news. Like it's
Are you doing
media. It's
journalism? I'm asking you.
yes.
This is journal. I ain't my bad. Like I
Not
said, you're
maybe
right. I be seeing.
this is included,
Nah,
but like I do things, Cam.
no, you do mad shit. You do mad shit. See, the thing about it is this. Niggas, don't get it fucked up, Stat. Maybe I should say the new journalists, because niggas be like, Kim, yeah, you're becoming an outstanding journalist. Niggas tell me that. I be like, word? Thanks. Nigga, you know what I'm saying? I'm a journalist. So I didn't mean it like that. Don't take offense to that. I see niggas like Nori journalism, Joe Button journalism, Camia journalism. I'll be like, where are we really journalism? My nigga. If that's the case, I've been doing journalism. I'm writing fucking raps. That's journalism. Fucking albums and shit. Fucking I've been writing shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to take it the wrong way. I say the new journalism. Because all we doing is really talking to our people how they can understand it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we're not sitting here using a bunch of words to, like I said, I deal with a different characters. I can walk in any room and talk to anybody. I can walk in the room with Warren Buffett, talk to Warren Buffett, and then I can walk in the room with Sid and he tell me he don't got Apple Pay. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to tell you. I deal with people of all walks of life. So we're just talking to people how they would want to be talked to. So no, I didn't want to offend you. I didn't mean to offend you with that because you're right. People say
I'm
I'm
not
doing
offended. It's
journalism.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. People be like, "Kim, you're a journalist," and look. Thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it. But I don't think I'm doing anything outside of myself. But saying when I first started doing any of this shit with the sports, with my talk shows, any of that, I just say, yo. How can I make my people, or not just my people, understand where certain things are coming from? Because, like I said, I hate to keep bringing up certain niggas in the hood, right? Nigga be like, yo, I be like, yo, you did the due diligence on that? Nigga be like, what's that mean? I be like, no, the research. Why you just gonna say that I do the homework on it? Why you gotta use due diligence? How you said what you said? Why you gotta do all that? Look, man, Stat know this shit, Mo. I'm gonna keep it 100. Anything, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Sometimes Stat don't be up to par with the hood journalism, man. I called Snap the other night. I say, yo, what's philanthropist mean? She ain't know like that.
Off the
Oh,
top. Off the top.
Just
It
kidding.
took me a second.
You ain't
Can
get
I,
your
come
can I,
on,
can I,
Stat.
wait, wait, wait,
Come
wait, wait,
on,
wait, wait,
Stat.
wait.
I'm
Come
just
No.
on,
saying.
Can I
Stat.
say something? No.
I
Can
ain't
I say
battling. I
something?
ain't battling you in journalism. I'm
Can
just
I,
saying.
can I say something?
You ain't know
It's
what
not a,
Come
philanthropist was
it's
like that.
not a battle. I knew what philanthropy was. It took me a second. But can I just like explain to y'all the range of questions Cam asked me? We went from what's a philanthropist to what is, or Eric B and Rakim, to
Eric B. and Rakim. Yeah.
what does the groundhog coming out the ground mean? Like this is like not like
Yeah, the
within
range
the
is wild.
same
I ain't gonna lie.
family. Like
Yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah,
I ain't
yo,
gonna lie.
I was mad
it's a
when
lot.
I was mad when you didn't know what Groundhog Day was.
It
Yeah,
took
I
me a
thought
second. Okay, y'all.
I
It's a lot of
I watched the
things.
show, Stat. Yeah.
yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. We all come from different walks of life, so I didn't want to be saying wrong with the journalism. But back to the original topic, the best experience sometimes is the best teacher is experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like give you an example. When Mace first came out, he was like, Cam, you should manage me. And I'm like, I don't man, we just got the game. I'll do it, but I don't know what I'm doing. How the fuck I'm gonna manage something? And this is our first time in the music industry, and it's not like it is now where you could upload your own music and internet and Spotify and iTunes and all these DSPs where you can put your music. This have to deal with real people in the record company and records and tapes and CDs, and you have to talk real business face to face. There ain't no emails and all that. Maybe a fax machine, but I didn't have no experience. I wouldn't know what I was doing. Today, if I had the man's mace, I run rings around niggas. Same thing like when you think about clutch sports, when you think about somebody like Rich Paul. LeBron James' original agent, he had Leon Rose. He had Maverick and Rich sitting under Leon Rose like this. Yeah.
Yep.
Like Pepsi, Dunkin' Donuts, like this, Pizza Hut. Curve Leon Rose 2, 3 years later and let them handle everything. But they had to sit there and learn certain things. Not saying that they ain't no street shit or hustling or being around LeBron, but you have to learn. Sometimes the best teacher is experience.
No, but I'll tell you like this, even when you say that, now I say this in the most serious way, I learned more from hustling, but I just didn't have legal terminology with it. And so I didn't want to really go there with the whole conversation, but I was saying to myself when I was in prison, after you hustle, if you could figure out how to formalize this, and I was looking at everything through a hustling eye, but the experience came from hustling, which
Mm.
is sales at the end of the day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But once you do that, once you can formalize your hustle, the energy and the ambition take over, but you just basically at the end of the day, you hustle, you putting deals together, you create margins on products and services at the end of the day. So you're 100% correct. I have that reference point. I don't know Sebastian life and I don't know it one way or another, but that's just to clear up and clarify the point. One, to say you was right, but then two, not to disparage him in any way.
Yeah. Those are all good takes, all good advice. Um, Last thing before we wrap. So Stephen A, as we know, huge sports media voice, and he's had miscellaneous, I don't want to say issues. I don't think issues is the right word, but we'll say
No.
public conversations with previous co-hosts. So right now he's kind of going through something with one of the people that he worked with, Michelle Beadle, which also carried Champion Cosign. Basically, in summary, she said that she was praying for his downfall after he endorsed a specific company. Of course, Stephen A was going to defend himself, in which he did. So he went on to say he didn't say a word about her in over 11 years. He doesn't know her. You would think there would be some beef going on that has been pervasive throughout the industry, but it's all because of her. So they're having their back and forths. But I use Stephen A as an example, but we've seen this in various industries, various people's lives, and things like that. So, how do you guys think you should navigate a world where people have normalized publicizing personal issues, whether it be true or false? Maurice.
I don't know. I was hoping that we can even encourage this conversations for people to not feel like if I have something to say, the whole world needs to hear about it. That's my take on it. So two things I will say. I heard Stephen A's take, and Stephen A actually inspired me when he was just talking about how hard he worked to basically do everything he's doing. And when he was describing all of the hours that he puts in to be the best, I kind of like I was on the trip and I was like, man, this dude actually puts in a tremendous amount of hours to basically make him into Stephen A. And that's why he's the best and paid $20 million a year, so on and so forth. So thank you for inspiring me, no matter what you were doing, whatever thing. But I don't like it. I don't like that if you do have an issue with somebody, and we talk about blending generations. I just don't know when it became normal that if I had an issue with somebody that the whole world had to hear about it. And we felt like everybody had to hear about it. And it was a time when that shit was corny. What I mean, if you had an issue with somebody, you just kind of like chatted with them, with that person. And so I think like I always talk about where shame has left America, so has privacy in some regard. And I just think that you should like covet that and keep that, or we have to somehow recapture it. I don't even know if you can put that genie back in the bottle, but I don't even think people care if something is true or false. They care about if the people who follow them, they can spit a narrative and spew whatever they want to spew towards a person. So I just was hoping that, maybe Cam, and I know Mace isn't here. I was just looking for them to talk about it because obviously they're two popular people. They've had shit talked about them, but just hearing their vantage point. And I didn't want to make this a high road, low road conversation, but just wanted to hear their thoughts on it.
Yeah, so the internet is the new diary. Used to be this thing called a diary where you just write your problems down and nobody ever sees your diary. You just express that was your therapist. That was your internet. That's everything you did. You wrote it in your diary, or niggas ain't have diary. That's some shit bitches used to have back in the days and hide it. And nobody ever see your diary. Mace talked about this. Nobody ever see your diary until you die. They be like, oh shit, all this was going on in their life. This the new shit. And what's going on this now, and even more so, you're never gonna get it because now nigga can vent on X. Go to X, man. This nigga, or they can vent on Instagram, or they can vent on social media, any of these platforms. So now they're venting, and like you said, Mo, it used to be private, but now they don't care about privacy. After that, what kicked in? The algorithm. Oh, I got hot off venting my problems. Now I'm hot in the algorithm and people want to see my gossip. Then what happened? Oh, I can get paid for this? Oh shit, I got a bunch of problems. I got a bunch of niggas I don't like. I got a bunch of so you killed three birds with one stone. I want to vent. Now I'm venting to my fans or my audience, what they're gonna have my side. Now I can get paid into it. I'm gonna find a reason to vent all the time. And that's what happened moving forward. I used to look at niggas and be like, yo, why these niggas just in their basement talking about niggas all day? They don't even know these niggas. They just talking about niggas. And then I found out, oh, they getting paid to talk about niggas. Niggas is late to the party. Not saying I do that shit, but I'm just saying, no wonder these niggas don't go. I used to be watching niggas on YouTube and shit like that and be like, why are these niggas just in the house? This, for instance, right, we insured. This is the only background you see right here for 7 years, just talking about niggas. And I used to be like, wow, these niggas been getting paid. I'm late to the party. Not saying that's my style, but I'm just saying that's what niggas been doing. Back to Stephen A. I want to touch on that real quick. Um, but yeah, that was like you said, very motivational. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith, what he said, defending himself. And you got to think about the two people who were talking about him. He had issues with Carrie Champion in the past, where she used to be on First Take with Skip Bayless, to where Stephen A. had got suspended before for a week behind some comments he made with Carrie Champion, to where she ended up not being on First Take anymore, and then eventually her exit from ESPN. Then you talking about Michelle Beadle, right? She didn't
Yeah.
like Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, she didn't like. I'm just giving some background so our audience will know. So Carrie Champion and Stephen A. Smith have a background where they got some words before Stephen A. Smith got suspended. Carrie's Champion ended up not being on First Take anymore, eventually not being on ESPN. Michelle Beadle, doing some history and homework on her, She hasn't been anywhere for a long time. She worked NBC and she worked ESPN, left ESPN, came back to ESPN. Then they come to find out she was on Get Up and the ratings wasn't doing well. And she said Stephen A can't even come on Get Up, even though Get Up comes on right before first take. She didn't want to be in the studio with him. So when she left Get Up, Stephen A was going on Get Up to help their ratings get up, and they went up. And he said it potentially saved the show. Then the real problem, I believe, for Michelle Beadle is that so when she leaves ESPN, Stephen A. Smith goes on the show that she got, I don't want to say left, I'm say fired because I'm not sure that she's not on anymore. Now, what's the real problem is this. If I give, I'm not supporting what she says, but she probably seeing Stephen A. Smith in her nightmares. She just lost her show or not on her show, whatever happened with Sirius XM, and she's not on Sirius XM. And as soon as she leaves Sirius XM, who comes in? Stephen A. Smith takes her time slot on Sirius XM, which he didn't even know he was doing. It ain't his fault. He go bust a deal with Sirius XM, and they be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna record my show. Next thing you know, Michelle Beadle's going, and Stephen A. Smith is in her time slot. She like, oh, he planned this. Nah, man, nigga, like, yo, sometimes it just work like that. I know it may be Groundhog's Day for Michelle Beadle seeing motherfucking Stephen A. Smith every fucking with, but that's a tribute to his work ethic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So shout out to Stephen A. Smith. And at the end of the day, for her to even say that publicly, that was she said, I'm not a big religion person, but I pray on his downfall. Like, God damn,
that's crazy.
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, that was a lot. That's one of those things that's like it definitely was a sneak diss, and I don't know if when she said it, she expected it to get where it got, but it's also like if you speak on him, especially if he knows you, he's probably going to have a response. But my thing is, yeah, I just feel like not everybody needs to say everything doesn't have to be said. I think the world needs more listeners. I think that everybody feels the need to voice everything on a mic, and sometimes it's okay to not do that. I know you were like joking about the diaries, and I know not everybody's comfortable with that, and I always go back to it. Diaries, therapists, it is okay to not say everything to the people because the internet is going to win every single time. Every single time. Even if you think that you're right. Maybe she said it and thought like, okay, like, I'm getting my little lick back. But a lot of the time you cannot decide what the internet decides. So I just think people need to sit back and just listen more. That's all. Cam, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say you said she tried to sneak this, and I don't know what was sneaky about it.
No.
Very
Yeah, but
direct.
but
Very
that was the
direct.
point. She did it because nobody pays attention to her. So she went out there and like just think about this. I don't like him, but I'm mentioning his name so I can get the attention. You know what I'm saying? To me, that is crazy. If I don't like somebody, I'm just not going to bother with them. Like, all right, whatever. And so that's the point I was making, where we seem to just have put everything out in the open, and then you don't have a private life, and that's to me the shame and a private life have just gone from society.
I, I will say though on the opposite end, and I'm not saying I agree with this, but I'm just thinking if she doesn't like him by saying his name, what that invites is a party of people who don't like him to party together about not liking him. It's the unfortunate truth, but that's what people do. They're like, "Oh, you don't like him?
But I
So
I don't
actually
like
think
him
decent.
either.
The
We're gonna have a
but
charming,
don't like him
the
party."
ch- I like that shit. I like to me, for me, I'm talking about when niggas don't like me, and then they get with other niggas that don't like me. That shit turn me on because I know y'all don't even really like each other. Y'all niggas just teaming up because y'all don't like me. I laugh at that shit. Look at these two niggas hanging out with these three, four, five, six, seven niggas hanging out because I'm the common name. They don't like me. Y'all don't even know each other real name. Y'all just be around each other because the topic is y'all don't like me. That should turn me on, poor. I like that. I could drive niggas to hang out that don't even know each other, that don't even necessarily like each other because they don't like me. I like that.
And that's what it is. Okay, y'all. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Maurice, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Good seeing you, Mo.
Always. Likewise.
All right. Thank y'all for watching, and as always, it is what it is.